The thing is, Your Honor, if you keep going to the same place over and over and over.
A career criminal with 11 prior prison terms stands before the judge claiming he's finally ready to change. But this time, the court isn't convinced by words alone. As Ronald Rivera begs for one last chance to beat his drug addiction and rebuild his life for his grandchildren, the judge delivers a brutally honest reality check that leaves everyone wondering whether mercy will win over his criminal past, or whether prison is inevitable.
Let's keep. You're in the case of State of Ohio versus Ronald Rivera, case number 26 CR 139. Defendant is present in the courtroom and represented by defense counsel. Defendant has previously pled guilty to a felony of the third degree failure to comply. Since then, a pre-sentence report and drug and alcohol evaluation have been completed. We're here today for the sentencing.
Mr. Tomaszek.
Yes, thank you, Your Honor. We would like to ask the court today to give Mr. Rivera an opportunity on community control sanctions. Your Honor, Mr. Rivera and myself do understand that he does have a very lengthy criminal history. He's been dealing with the criminal justice since he was a juvenile. He is not naive to that whatsoever. Your Honor, Mr. Rivera also acknowledges he does have a huge issue when it comes to drugs. This case specifically, he, stole to feed his drug addiction. He indicated he did do treatment. He was at Silver Maple Recovery and at Charlie House. After being released from Charlie House, Your Honor, he did get himself into a, as he describes it, a toxic relationship. He was trying to balance his sobriety along with helping his significant other's sobriety, and it was his downfall, Your Honor. So he was trying to feed his addiction here. Mr. Rivera is open to any and all treatment options. He has a great plan in place for himself. When I first met Mr. Rivera, he indicated that, he'd be willing to do even more time in the jail. He wants to get, a significant amount of time of sobriety in his system. He's willing to do jail treatment program, NeoCap, residential sober living. He's willing to do basically anything. So, Your Honor, we would just like to ask the court today for an opportunity to place Mr. Rivera on community control sanctions. Thank you.
What do you want to say?
Your Honor, if you got a car that's messed up and you're fixing all the wrong things except what needs to be fixed, then you can't expect the car to ever get fixed. And it took me a while to realize that my drug addiction was the main core of my problem. I could have pleaded guilty to the F4 and did a year in prison. And prison, I know, is not the answer for me. I've been there numerous times, and I'm a great artist. I can go to prison and shoot tattoos and make money and do drugs and all of that and come home.
In prison?
Yeah, and still with the same problem. Everything that's on the streets, Your Honor, is there. This I know firsthand from experience.
Why do they let that stuff in prison?
It's not about them letting it in. Some people sneak it in. Some people do anything. I brought pictures over here to show you how good I can draw. And what I'm telling you is the truth. I know from experience. But I chose to plead guilty to the F3, Your Honor, to let you see. And then I believe 5 months ago I wrote you a letter saying I'm not the worst person in the world, but I am probably the dumbest because I know better, Your Honor. I've honor roll student all through school. I went to college for a few years, and I'm a good person by heart, and my heart is big, but I've made a lot of dumb decisions in my life, and I have no one to blame for sitting here right now and hearing the prosecutor say what she says. All she can do is say what my record reflects. And I'm probably the dumbest person in the world for making the mistakes that I made and the decisions that I made. But I finally realized what my problem is, and I'm trying to take every step I can to correct that. And I know prison is not going to do me any good. And I don't care if it's NeoCap, I don't care if it's JTP, I don't want you to make community control easy for me. You can make it as hard as you want, and I'll show you just how much of a productive citizen I want to be. And more importantly, how much I want to be there for my grandkids and for myself. If I don't help myself, I can't help my grandkids. I can't help nobody. But how much of a man I want to be, not just a productive citizen. I want to finally be a man. It might have taken me till I was 55 to realize this, but I think it's better late than never. And like I said, I don't want it to be easy, but I'm willing to prove myself to you in any way that I have to, that community control is the best option for me because I'm ready for it. That's the bottom line, Your Honor.
All your activity throughout the years has been mostly in Lorain County.
Yes, I was born and raised in Lorain County, Your Honor,
What were you doing in Menor stealing perfume out of Dillard's?
Your Honor, because of my drug addiction, it took me to Menor to shop. Your Honor, as I said,
Why Menor?
like I said, I'm not the worst person in the world, but I'm not the dumbest.
You don't have malls in Strongs. Don't they have a big mall in Strongsville?
Well, the thing is, Your Honor, if you keep going to the same place over and over and over, anything I do, I try to do it to the best of my ability. I'm not trying to highlight anything, or I'm not trying to downplay my actions either, Your Honor. But I chose to go somewhere where I hadn't been.
Okay, so why'd you steal that?
Huh?
Why did you steal that?
I mean, I sold it to sell to.
I know, where do you sell? Wasn't one a sampler?
You can sell it. The drug dealers will buy all of that stuff. Right?
Who's buying it?
The drug dealers in Lorraine will buy all of that. Any drug dealer that knows, because they live a lavish lifestyle. So the colognes that you're getting are $200-$300 bottles of cologne, and they're paying pennies on the dollar for it, Your Honor.
How much you get for that stuff?
$50, $100 for one bottle. Your Honor, I'm not proud of my record, and I'm not trying to downplay the crimes that I've committed, because I'm here now because of my actions. Not no one, not no officer, not you, not the prosecutor. I'm here because of my actions. But I also know right now, at this point in my life, what the best course of action.
You're not a very good criminal.
No, I'm not. But I want to be a better man.
Well, that's up to you, ain't it?
Yes.
I mean, you've been on probation before, right?
Yes. Your Honor, I'm currently on PRC right now. And my probation officer told me, he's like, Mr. Rivera, this is the first time I've ever heard you admit that you won.
Who's your parole officer?
David Gall out of Lorain County. And he said, unless you catch a serious felony, he's like, I know that the actions that you're doing right now are because of your addiction. He said, unless you catch a serious felony, where I think.
What did he suggest you do after you got this case?
He suggested, I had other steps in motion. I think there's somebody sent a letter of recommendation for me. I don't know if you got that letter, you've seen that letter, but someone sent a letter of recommendation for me. And those are the steps that I'm taking to make sure that I never go back to that world, Your Honor, and to be the best me that I can be. I want to be there for my grandkids. I lost a daughter in 2024. She OD'd off of Percocets, and she has 7 grandkids, and my grandkids are scattered out, and I try to help them as much as I can, but because I'm not a deadbeat and I am there for them, they're missing me a lot now, and it hurts me to know that I should be, because I have 2 places that I was employed at that I can go back and work at. You know what I mean? And my bosses love me. So for me to neglect my grandkids and put them through what they're putting them through, and their mom is going, I feel like crap. You know? The bottom line, I feel like a turd, to put it bluntly.
All right. So how long have you been in jail?
For 6 months.
Okay. Is that mostly on the? Is that because of the holder?
Theft charge. There was theft charges out of Menor Municipal Court, so he finished up the sentence. Yeah, for thefts out of Menor Municipal Court from 2025.
It was one of those Trevitt specials, wasn't it?
Yes.
When's that sentence up? Is it still going on?
That sentence was up on the 24th. I'm here now because of this bond on this case.
Okay. So when you're not in jail, where are you living?
Their address that they have is current. I live with my aunt. This is my mom's sister.
On 12th Street?
On 12th Street. And, Your Honor, I would love to get in Lake Geauga County sober living. I got a child support warrant as soon as I go in front of the judge. I've been here since then when I had the purged them out. As soon as I get in front of the magistrate there, they'll release me on that because I've never gotten released from. But I can. When I went to Silver Maple and completed the program successfully, I've learned how much support there is in peer support and in the sober world. So I have insurance. My insurance will cover anything. So there's no excuse, even though I'm going to lose my license, there's no excuse for me not making it somewhere because I can call, provide a ride. I can get where I need to get to. And the reason I wanted to live either in Cleveland or here out in Painesville is because of the bus system. And I can use the bus system to get back and forth to work. And my sole goal is to work, get direct deposit back to my Chime account, and get my credit back to where it needs to be so I can be there for my grandkids. And that's my plan.
The Silver Maple place, you finished that in the fall?
I finished it. I got there in August, and I completed August the 11th. I completed it September the 10th, and I went to the Sober Living House at Charlie House. When I caught this case right here that I'm on, not this case. When I caught the case that I was doing the 6 months on in Menor, that's when I got kicked. I got kicked out of Charlie House because of that case.
Okay, because it wasn't. I can't keep track of you because you got booted out of Charlie's house November 5th.
And that was
this case. This shoplifting was November 25th. So you picked up one in Menor before that.
I'm doing 6 months on the charge that I had before that.
So that was sometime between when? It was when?
It was, I believe, the end of this year. It was
before you got kicked out of Charlie's, right?
Yeah. I was here. I bonded out February of 2025. These cases are old, Your Honor. This case is before I ever went to Silver Maple. I had this case before I ever completed Silver Maple.
Okay, this case is for November 25th of 25.
Yes. And then the case that I just served the 6 months for, I bonded out in February of 2025. I had this case before I completed Silver Maple and Charlie House.
God damn.
I was in Avon, and I had a theft charge out of Avon as well as Menor, Your Honor. I told the judge in Avon she was going to give me a personal bond. I told her I didn't want to be released, that I had a drug problem, and that I would probably be out using and shoplifting again if she let me out. I asked her to hold me in the county jail in Lorraine until a bed came open at Silver Maple. And it was a couple of months after that.
All right.
That's when I got to Silver Maple.
All right. So you got the Menor charge February of 25. They caught up to you the end of January of 26, and that's when he gave you 180 days. Okay. So you got that case before you went to Silver Maple.
Yeah.
Completed Silver Maple. When you got out, when you left Silver Maple on November 5th, you picked up this thing 3 weeks later.
When I left Charlie House, and I got to back into toxic relationship with the girl that I was with, I started using again, and that
was she a user?
Yeah, she was a user, and I was proud of myself for being sober at the time. And because I cared about her, I tried to get her to stop using, and she never did. And it took me a little minute before I actually relapsed. But I learned now that I can't worry about anyone else but myself. I need to concentrate on myself.
So what's your plan to get yourself, to keep yourself off drugs?
My plan is to go to if you think JTP would be all right, but sober living to me is my main thing, because in sober living I have to go to IOP every week in order for my insurance to pay for me to be at the sober living spot. Sober living would allow me to continue my drug treatment and could go into IOP, but it would also allow me to be able to work so that I can save up money and get my credit. So by the time, if I stay in sober living for 4 or 5 months, I can leave from sober living financially on my feet and be a productive citizen.
All right, Mr. Gretzky.
Your Honor, the state recommends prison. The defendant does have a long criminal history, which is outlined in the pre-sentence report, and includes a previous conviction for failure to comply and 11 prior prison sentences, and he was on post-release control at the time of this offense. I'd also like to highlight, as far as any consideration for community control sanctions, I'd ask the court to consider whether there is anything in the community that could rehabilitate the defendant. I submit that there isn't. If I'm reading these dates correctly, he left the treatment, Charlie House, which has been discussed, on November 5th. This offense happened 7 days later. 7 days later, he's stealing from the mall and driving through in a manner that puts other citizens there, people who are shopping, at risk, people in their cars at risk. It's not just the criminal history, but whether there is anything in our community that could rehabilitate him again, and I believe there isn't. So I think the only solution is for a prison sentence in order to ensure that the defendant's conduct does not continue for a given period of time. Thank you.
Well, I'll tell you what, is with every other chronic drug addict that comes through here, there's nothing in the community in and of itself that helps anybody.
The letter you got, Your Honor, is my main focus on making sure that I don't let the community down or myself down. That's why the letter of recommendation that I got, I took that route to better myself.
Well, what I mean is a program is just an outline of activities with people directing you, right?
But I'm ready myself, Your Honor. I know it took me a while to get there, but I'm the one that has to do right. If without me putting my best foot forward, then I'm never going to get better, Your Honor.
Well, that's like Miss Zagretsky as a assistant prosecutor. Okay, unless she puts her best foot forward, then she won't do a very good job. Fortunately, she puts her best foot forward and is very good at what she does, as is your lawyer. Okay. So programs in and of themselves don't really do anything.
I took the chance of not pleading guilty to it.
I know what you did. I don't think you understand what I'm saying.
But I'm saying if you gave me some,
what I'm saying is, in your lifetime, you've put forth zero effort.
I've had a lot of good parts in my life. I've messed up more than I've had good times, but at the same time, if you gave me the max on this sentence today and gave me community control, and if I did go out and not do right, then I got to do that 60 months instead of the year that I could have.
Well, you'll do whatever I say you're going to do. Okay,
Without a
that ain't
doubt.
the point. Okay?
Without a doubt.
That ain't the point. The point is whether you are going to determine that you get your shit together so that you're not coming back 11 more times for prison numbers, right? Because that's you're one of the top prison number guys that's come through here. 11. It's a lot. And wasn't one of them almost a 10-year with the feds?
Yes.
10-year stretch? That makes 11 a really, really lot. So nothing you told me really matters. Nothing you told me today really matters. Okay? Because they're just words, right? Have you told this to other judges?
No, because at the time, Your Honor, I never admitted my drug problem for what it was. Just last year is when I actually seen my drug problem for what it was. I thought because I was smoking weed and I was a binge user but it always stems back to me getting in trouble from drugs. And I finally realized it, just like I said about a car. If you don't fix the actual problem, then you can't never expect the car to run right. I finally admitted that I have a drug problem and I'm willing to do what I need to do. And I'm just asking for a chance to prove it. If not, I'm going to have to go back to jail anyways. If I show up in front of you and violate, I'm going to be going to prison. I'm asking you to give me a chance to prove to you and to be there for my grandkids. That's what I'm asking, because I have changed. In the time that I've been locked up, I've changed. And I know I have because of my thinking and the way that and what I want out of life right now.
Well, luckily, they're not able to sneak drugs into Lake County Jail like they're in prison, right?
Well, I mentioned that same fact to Miss Thompson when I first got there. I mentioned the exact same fact. It's not even about whether they sneak them there or not, Your Honor. At this point in my life, I don't want to have nothing to do with them anyways. That's why I know prison is not the answer for me, and for me to go out and do what I need to do to stay out here and be there for my grandkids is what I need to finally wake up and do. And that's what I'm willing to do.
All right, I've reviewed the pre-sentence report in the drug and alcohol evaluation, victim impact statement, and other materials. Listen to Mr. Rivera, listen to counsel, considered all the provisions in 29, 29, 11, 12, and 13. And I'm going to put you on community control for 4 years. You're going to serve 60 days in the jail with credit for 7. The last 30, you're going to be in the jail treatment program. You're going to complete it and follow all recommendations. You're going to serve, after that, you're going to go to a sober living facility for a minimum of 6 months. Follow all those recommendations. No drugs or alcohol with screens. At least 4 AA or NA meetings a week. And obtain a sponsor. Obtain and maintain full employment. After your suspension is up, that I'm going to give you in a minute, get a valid driver's license. Restitution to Dillard's, $485.85, and pay the cost and supervision fees. Ms. Randallson, any other terms?
Is that we're at the situation once again where we can't go to sober living after JTP. So we could say JTP, then we could say residential for 3 months, and then sober living for 3 months.
Why is that now?
They just won't allow.
Okay. Didn't we have this problem the other day?
So if you would like for him to do 6 months sober living, 3 of them will count if he goes to residential after JTP.
Okay, so what's he going to have available to him? As far as
it would be As far as sober living or residential?
Residential.
He could go to Lake House or Concord Counties.
All right. So that's what we'll do. So after JTP, go to either Lake House or Concord Pines, and that'll count towards the 6-month minimum on the sober living. Understand all the terms?
Yes, I do, Your Honor.
Any question about the terms?
No, Your Honor.
Your Honor, what was the restitution again?
$485.85.
Thank you.
And you got $50 for that crap? All right, if you violate, the state will file a motion to terminate. If you find you violated, it's 36 months in prison. You understand that?
Yes, I do.
Or is it it's 36, right? Or is this one of the highs?
I believe it's 60 months.
60? 60 months in prison.
Your Honor, can we also add that he needs to take care of all of his warrants?
Yes, clear all your warrants. Do you know where all your warrants are?
Yes, I do, Your Honor.
Okay. Anything else, Ms. Gretzky?
For the license suspension, Your Honor, according to law, I believe this would be a lifetime suspension.
This is the second one. All right. Well, I guess I'm going to take away your condition of getting a valid driver's license since you can't get one. So the suspension is lifetime. Anything else, Ms. Tomasic?
No, Your Honor. Thank you.
All right.
Instead of sending Ronald Rivera to prison, the judge grants him one final opportunity through 4 years of community control. The court orders 60 days in jail with credit for time served, completion of the Jail Treatment Program, JTP, a minimum of 6 months in sober living, mandatory treatment, 4 AA/NA meetings every week, a sponsor, full-time employment, restitution of $485.85 to Dillard's, and strict drug and alcohol testing. Because this is his second failure to comply conviction, the judge also imposes a lifetime driver's license suspension and warns that any violation will result in a 5-year prison sentence, making it clear that this is Rivera's final chance to prove his life has truly changed.